Oh, you're listening to Count Richard von Coudenhove Kalergi. Today is Sunday the 10th of May, and here's a couple of comments since my last video. On this day in 1801, the First Barbary War took place involving four North African states, which were provinces of the Ottoman Empire and the navies of the United States and Sweden, over the capturing of merchant ships and the ransoming of their crews. And on this day in 1933, saw the Nazis stage a massive public book burning involving up to 25,000 books regarded as un-German, with Joseph Goebbels addressing a crowd of 40,000 people in Berlin, saying no to decadence and moral corruption and yes to decency and morality in family. And on this day in 1940, Churchill is appointed Prime Minister, and I suppose a quote from him would be a good start as we enter week 7 of Cleo's lockdown. He once said, "The best argument against democracy is a 5-minute conversation with the average voter." How else would you explain the number of people who think the government is doing a good job? I was passing through a shopping centre yesterday and I counted close to 100 people in the queue to get into Tesco. Everywhere now you have to queue, with some shops only allowing 2 customers in at a time. I looked at the queue yesterday and I thought, is this what communist Russia looked like? How long before they start to ration what you can buy, or have someone check your groceries for non-essential items? Will men be allowed to buy tampons for wives or partners, or will she be stopped from buying shaving cream? What other nonsense will we put up with? You can queue to get into a supermarket, you can't walk on a beach, you can buy alcohol, and on Capel Street a sex shop was open, and yet the churches, bar 1 or 2, are still happy with them being relegated to a non-essential service. As of Saturday evening, the number of deaths from and with the virus is 1,446. One of the sadder cases involved a young 17-year-old girl called Sally Maz, who tragically died on April the 24th. A student from Ballyhaunis Community School was admitted to hospital 10 days beforehand and was tested twice for the virus and found to be negative, but appears that she was put into a ward with people with the virus and subsequently died. Last Wednesday, a journalist put the question to Dr. Tony Houlihan at an emergency briefing, which he replied that he would not comment on individual cases, and when pressed, the microphone to the journalist was turned off. Even the commemorations marking 75 years since the end of World War II did not escape the comparisons with references from world leaders to the need to join forces to defeat this enemy as we did Nazism, and demands for the same spirit of national endeavour. At least that time you could see your enemy. He had a uniform. This time the real enemy wears suits, reads well-prepared speeches written by very well-paid people and are members of NGOs of global proportions, and that have turned the world into a medical dictatorship. Even unelected Cleo's spin machine costing over 100,000 per month to sell this fear porn to the public, designed to make people obedient and subservient, and can only be saved by handing over your rights to the state. I always thought that the biggest threat came from a military-industrial complex that was fed wars and rumours of wars to justify spending. Now it appears that the even bigger threat to life, liberty and the pursuit of happiness is from the corrupted public health industrial complex and its financial conflicts of interest, and the ever-present threat to bodily sovereignty that vaccines have become, and threats to our health by a Gates vaccine rushed through compromising safety and the need to secure his company against financial liability from injuries and loss of life. We have to turn around the bodily autonomy argument of self-governance over our own bodies without external influence or coercion, and the considered to be a fundamental right. My body, my choice. Just make sure any t-shirts are not in the colours of the repeal, as I saw someone wearing during the week. It is not the government's job to protect my health. It is the government's job to protect my rights. Otherwise, why is alcohol or cigarettes not banned? And why is someone who has taken the flu vaccine afraid of someone who hasn't? This is all about control and very little to do with health, and it is my belief that this lockdown will become a rolling event, with the sheeple demanding vaccines from tyrannical governments drunk on power. With the up and coming Bilderberg meeting yet to be announced due to travel restrictions, which surprises me as most travel by private jet anyway, with that war criminal Henry Kissinger attending 44 out of the last 67 meetings so far, one frequent attendee, Michael O'Leary, has announced that Ryanair plans to axe over 3,000 pilots and cabin crew jobs, and with Aer Lingus looking to cut 900 jobs, the days of budget airline seats will be long over, as airlines struggle to stay afloat, with South African Airways one of the first casualties, and has operated since February 1934. One of the side effects of this hopefully will be an increase in domestic tourism as holidaying abroad becomes more expensive. This hopefully will see a lead to the turning of hotels into direct provision centres by stealth, a less attractive option for the owners. I live in hope. Well, there are a couple of comments for Jeremy Owen. Thanks for listening. Good night, good luck, and God bless.